Rolling.
Rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the second channel. So Andrew Huang and I recently went back into the studio and booked a one-day session to record another 1st of October album, which is our one-day-a-year band. Yes. So we went in and wrote 10 songs in 12 hours this time. And now we're going to do some lesson videos on how to play them, which will also be a bit of a lesson for me because given that project, you play it once and then you just move on. So all of these songs I've only played once, which is a bit silly. So the song on the album, that is the only time that we have ever played it. But my memory for these are pretty good because often when you're writing in that at that speed, you pretty much just have to go with your gut, and whatever's the first thing that pops into your head, you just have to roll with. So a lot of the riffs, a lot of the chord progressions are things that are very, very familiar. But anyway, in this video, I got my bass, I got my Chapman bass, and the Dave signature, and we're going to, oh, I'm realizing there's a chip on this. It was dropped at some point.
Oh no.
Oh man. Well, it's just part of the game. The guitars often go through some abuse, though I don't remember when this was dropped, but there's something. Anyway, not important. Second channel. How's my head doing?
Just a little hair.
So we're gonna start with this. Oh, we're like 2 minutes into the video already. We're gonna start with the lesson for Ravioli, the kind of title track of the album. And this is a lot of me doing my best Les Claypool impression. The song started with that little riff and built from that. Though let's start with instead of going from the beginning, we'll start from the chorus, because the whole song is just based around this one scale. And it's a scale that I use a ton, especially if I'm playing anything metal or funky or anything where I want this particular type of sound. But so to start just on the E string, just open 1, 4, I think in tab, 0, 1, 4 on this string, then going up 0, 2, 3, and then again on the D, 0, 2, 3, and starts to come into play. And then on the G string, it's a little bit tough and a bit weird in the scale, in that just this entire area pretty much, except for the 3rd fret, is in the scale. So 1, 2, 4, 5. And that's something that's unique, that I find very unique to this scale, is that clump of notes. I usually play it in a different position when I'm playing guitar. Almost always when I'm in this scale, it's 0, 1, 4, and then I do most of my fingering in this position. So 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 6, 7. Just throwing out a lot of numbers in this. Normally when I'm playing the scale on a guitar, that was a bit sloppy, but that's usually the position I'm in right here. And then often the riffs will center around that 5th fret, that A, and then just 1 fret over. So and then I'll pretty rarely use the 1, 0. I just find musically it makes a lot of sense to be using these notes. Anyway, so the main riff is just going up that scale. And when I got this bass, I just kind of started going up, and it had a cool little melody to it. And we'll go through exactly what those notes are later, but this whole song is based around that scale. So the song starts at the top of what we just learned. Ravioli, ravioli, oli now. And that's just so on the high G, 1, 2, 1, then 3 on the D string. And then we go through that again, add some more notes, 1, 3, 2. And I'm realizing now this bass, I love instruments that, I love guitars that don't have fret markers on them. I think it's a cool, except for the 12, I think it's a cool look. But for this camera, And for this video, it's unfortunate because it's harder to see what fret I'm using. But I'm all in this, and all the notes are that scale. There's only a few other things even in the song, and again, they're just based around the same scale. So that's the beginning. Ravioli, ravioli now. And then now to the other area of it. This is a very less Claypool-y Primus thing. This is just that same E, but on a bass, you can just strum the 2 highest strings, and then that top note is your root. So there's the E. Then we got the 5th, that's right below it there, like if you were doing a power chord here. I don't know if what I'm saying is kind of confusing, but if you're building out an E chord, E, octave, then just that same power chord shape. And then to make it easier for the bass, also just it's a cool sound, to just bar those top 2 high strings. So, and there you got an E. And in this song, with that same E to F that I got on the low, the whole slap part is pretty much just E, F. But we got those same chords here, and I use that quite a bit in this song. So, but yeah, it's the beginning. Ravioli, ravioli now. So just that same chord on those upstrokes, and then it always ends on a downstroke. So I like ravioli as much as the next guy. And that is all throughout the song. And in the last verse, it ends a bit more abruptly. I like ravioli as much as the next guy, but you're always ending on a downstroke, but the rest of it is upstroke. And I'm just strumming with my fingernails there. But actually, I think the song is best played with fingers. Though when recording it, just for the sake of efficiency, since I was playing with a guitar pick, playing guitar all day, I actually played everything except for the slap part with a pick. So in the actual recording, I'm doing with a guitar pick. And it sounds pretty similar, but I think it would be best to play the song with fingers. But given the environment that the song was made, efficiency was key, and I had already been playing guitar picky stuff for quite a while, so I just continued on that, except for, of course, the slap part, which you can't do with a pick. But yeah, so I'm just strumming with my fingers, and I like to get these types of dead notes in there. Again, very reminiscent of the enormous amount of time I spent listening and watching Primus as a kid. So the next guy. Let's go through that part. And this I'm also thinking is just based around E, F. Because if you're building a power chord from there, you got E, B, then it's octave, and then F. And that's what I'm thinking of while going through it, but in a bit of a different shape. So I'm putting that slide in and then to E. Yeah, so I'm thinking F, 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 E, 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 even though those aren't the notes, but I'm building around those chords. So those notes there, and I remember writing this, this took a particularly long time to figure out this little part. Anyway, starts on the 3rd fret on the A string, and I'm doing it with my middle finger there, bringing my 3rd into it, 3rd fret on the D, sliding up to the 5th fret, and back, and just back through those same 2 notes. I think that slide there is pretty important. And then 1 fret over, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, open. So just a E power chord there, arpeggiating an E power chord. And then I love adding a slide. Though there's a lot of improvisation. Jake loves the slides, apparently. Here's Jake's favorite song. Anyway, so there's a ton of improvisation through the song because, again, this was what's on the recording is the first time we got all the way through. So a lot of those like filler areas that maybe if we had more time we would find an exact notation for. There's just a lot of improvisation, which I think for this song actually is makes it better. It gives it a bit more of a sloppy, cheesy ravioli feel, you know? Anyway, so verse. On the 9th fret, barred, top 2 strings, I like ravioli as much as the next guy, but I won't pay those prices. Won't pay those prices. And then the slide, and then again. Ravioli as much as the next. Oh wait, now I'm thinking the last verse. I like ravioli as much as the next guy, but I won't pay those prices. I won't pay those prices. And then to the chorus, which is just going up that scale. And another thing I was thinking about while writing this was just a type of idea which I also did in the beginning of Envy, where generally the lower notes are, the less often they come about in the song. And high notes are, you can do twiddly fast leads, bass is usually slower. So with this chorus kind of, and with Envy, just the higher up I get on the fretboard, the higher up I get with the notes, the faster it goes. So that was kind of the idea, though they're mostly the same note length, but that was kind of the idea. Pay those high prices for that ravioli now. So just going up that scale, 0, 1, 4, next string, 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, and then those two notes are a bit faster. And then the same thing we learned from the beginning on the highest string, 1, 2, 1, 3 on the D. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2. Won't pay those high prices for that ravioli now. I won't pay those high prices for that ravioli. I'm kind of forgetting it, but that la 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 there is just on the high string, those same notes, 1, 2, 4, 5, ba 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 ba. That part is easier to play with a pick. Though, can I? No, that's illegal. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want the police coming. Yeah, it's just a little bit, I'm a little bit rusty with the fingers here. There we go. A bit rusty, but that's the riff. Ravioli, yoli, la 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 la. So it's the same thing, you're just adding those 4 notes in there at the end. And I think that first one even is already in that riff. So that's the chorus. And then ravioli, la 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 la. And then there's a few improvised parts, like I think at the end of each chorus I might have done something. Added more notes there, but you're always ending on that E, that 2nd fret. And I remember too, while doing the choruses, I had the idea for like every 3rd time I would slide up. I don't know if I actually did that. I at least did it with one chorus, but those high prices for that ravioli now. Hard stop. Yeah. Yeah, I believe I did that in the recording. Oh yeah, and then the ending, I remember at least doing this once, simplifying that part. So it's ravioli now. I don't think I sang that, but and again, lot of improvisation. And then I believe it went back to the verse. Ravioli, watch the next guy. And then it's just the same thing over again. Hard stop. Whatever that is. And then to the slap part, and then here's where things get a little bit different. So again, in the slap part, all I'm thinking as I'm improvising, ton of improvisation at this point, but all I'm thinking is just keep it simple, keep it to just E and F. So E, F, and then the fifths that go along with it. So those chords are at the beginning. That's just E, F, power chords. And so these notes that are also in that power chord also come about in different octaves or different places. So it's all just E, F, and also up here, and then those fifths that come with the power chord. That's a B and C. So it's really just those 4 notes all over the fretboard. So yeah, so starting with a thumb smack to the low E, we can continue referring to that. And then 3 dead notes? No, 2 dead notes. So E, dead note with this hand, then dead note with your right hand. And then the power chords, that's 2, 4, 3, 5 at the top, and popped. So you get your fingers under there and really smack them into the fretboard. Then just and all the dead notes there are with your right hand. This part's a little bit tricky. So it's thumb, that E note, then hammer on to F, dead note, pop. And then it's just all thumb dead notes. Oh wait, no, that's not true. E, dead note with the left hand. Yeah, this is a bit confusing. It's like once you've been playing slap for enough, you just kind of fill in those, you think about the notes, the actual notes that you're playing, and then once you've been playing long enough, your subconscious just kind of fills in the rest of the area with dead notes. So I haven't really given it any thought until now. Yeah, that was right. And then I'll go slow. So. Cool, and that's it. But it's a lot to digest there. So what we already went over. And those are all just dead notes with your thumb after that initial one here. And that's E, F. Yeah. Oh, and I guess there is an A there, though it's unintentional, but it probably made it into the album quite a bit. Yeah, that's definitely in there at some points. So power chords, single notes, E, F. Wow. It's also weird playing it slow. And then that's a kind of weird. Yeah, and that first one is actually a pop on the A, which is a little bit weird. And then that's the riff, pretty much. Slap is a little bit confusing. How do you feel about that? Should I go a bit more?
I mean, I feel like you covered the bases there, but bases covers the bases.
Second channel. Yeah, so. I guess you could slow it down. It is a little it's a lot of dead notes. But and also it's just a ton of improvisation after that. So it doesn't need to be exact at all. Like that is the basis of everything that I'm doing.
The basis?
But hey, ha. But then it's kind of just all over the place. It's meant to be a little bit sloppy. And then there's also these same chords from earlier, 9 barred. And then we also bring in the 10. So E and F right there. And then there's one point where I just strum that, so. And then it ends with those chords, 10, 10, 10, 9. And there's, I believe this first half, when there's guitar, it's a lot more improvisation on the bass, and then the second half maybe less. I don't know. Again, it's only been, we only played it once. But that's the slap riff. It's just through E and F. Maybe I'll play it slow, and that'll be less confusing. All right.
Good luck.
Playing it correctly slow. Oh man, it's weird slow. And again, that's just the basis. There's a ton of improvisation there. Yeah, just E, F, that type of rhythm, and you got it. And then it goes back to the verse. Ravioli much as the next guy. And then the second time through the verse, it has that stop. I like ravioli as much. And me and Andrew cued that on at much. I like ravioli as much. So as much is strummed. As much as the next guy. But I won't pay those prices. I won't pay those prices. And then the ending is just the chorus 2 times. Oh, and then there's a final ending. So that chorus goes twice as long, and the rest of the instruments change what they're doing. But the bass stays the same throughout. There's some improvisation over here towards the end of that. I don't remember what it was. And then there is the SpongeBob reference, which is just that beginning. Ravioli, ravioli. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, and then just going up the scale further. Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formula. So that's the scale going up is 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm just checking myself here. Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formula now. And then ending on that same 9, 9. I don't remember if I had the low E in there or not. I probably didn't. I probably just went like that.
I like it. Really.
That's, oh yeah? Because Les Claypool would just play this, I think.
Oh,
Which is what I was thinking when I was recording. It's
Well,
like
you'll
doing
just
my
say.
best Les Claypool impression. Or maybe I did that. Yeah, maybe I did that. I don't remember. Either one is fair game, as long as you're ending on an E chord. Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formula. And that's Ravioli. I hope that this was helpful and wasn't too confusing. Because one of the coolest things with 1st of October has been seeing people cover the songs. It's the coolest thing ever. And see these songs that Andrew and I had so much fun making in such a short time, and then to see people put their own spin on it, or just simply just, you know, learn how to play it and play along is super, super cool. So looking forward to see some other ravioli covers. And another thing we love to do is post them on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. And then all covers that I see go on the fan made covers playlist on the channel as well. I think that's one of the coolest things. The coolest parts of this job is seeing people cover these songs and have these tunes that we make, you know, be part of their musical education, so to say. This one's a ravioli, cheesier education, a more culinary experience. Yeah, that's Ravioli. Thanks so much for watching the second channel, and we'll see you soon. I'm gonna do a few other tracks that I can remember.